This is Matt from MGMT Boston on another episode of Lantern. I'm with Carl Palme, the co-founder and CEO of Boundless Robotics. So we are here in the lab at Mass Robotics to talk about what he's building, some of their accomplishments thus far, what they're thinking about for 2025, and more. So let's get into it. Carl, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the time.
First and foremost, what is Boundless Robotics? What are you guys building?
Yeah, so we are making the technology to make it possible for people to grow 5% of their food at home effortlessly by 2030.
Amazing. And as you think about, what's going on ending 2024 and into next year, what are some of those things that is relevant for all in the community to know?
So we essentially launched the product at the beginning of 2024. We've had a great launch, learning a lot about the market, learning a lot about social media, content creators, all that great stuff.
Certainly.
And so now we want to get into 2025 and really kick butt. We are looking at expanding into Europe. So we're looking for partnerships to help us get into Germany. I think that's going to be a great market.
Great.
They're really into homeopathy, growing your own pesticide-free stuff, more so than I think Americans. But I think with, the new politicians coming in and all of the regulation that's coming in, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with devices like this, especially for people who want to grow their own at home.
Yeah. A robotics consumer company here in Boston, very important. What are some of those things that consumers can grow, out of curiosity?
So with our device, you can grow anything. At our office, we're growing Pothos plants, we've grown peppers, we've grown tomatoes, but most of our consumers are actually growing cannabis.
Amazing.
And that actually ends up being a great crop for us because it's a very expensive crop. It's also very difficult to grow well. And so with our technology, we're seeing a lot of success. Our technology relies a lot on AI. And so we have to collect a lot of data. And all of the data that we're collecting from across the country where people are growing their own cannabis is actually helping us improve the models that we need to use for growing more food at home.
Very cool. Now, as it comes to building a supply chain, to servicing end customers from a consumer perspective, to assembling, all these devices here at Mass Robotics, what are some things you've learned building this company?
That's an interesting question. I've been working in hardware for the last 20 years. And so we are kind of seeing what's happening with tariffs and the supply chain. We were born during COVID, so we saw a lot of those supply chains break. And so we've been focusing on trying to bring as much of the supply chain into the US. We're actually assembling most of our product here in the US, here in Boston, which is pretty neat. We make the plastics in Wisconsin, but we do import some stuff from China. And now we have to be very careful to make sure that our supply chain does not get disrupted. And so that's one of the things that we are looking for. And one of the great things that we've learned is to make things flexible so that even if there are any supply chain disruptions, like with chips or whatever, we can still keep producing product for our customers.
Absolutely. Last but not least, how can we in Boston help you? How can we help Boundless Robotics grow?
Yeah, I think Boston has a great ecosystem for hardware, like robotics companies, medical devices. But I think one of the things that is lacking is consumer hardware. And I'd love to see more consumer hardware companies be born in Boston. I'd love to see more meetups. I'd love to see more talent. We have a lot of universities, incredible students, and a lot of them end up going out west. And so we're missing out on a lot of talent where we could keep it here. So Matt, please help us get more consumer hardware companies started.
I would echo that. This is Carl from Boundless Robotics, Matt from MGMT Boston on this episode of Lantern. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Matt.